Hello and welcome back to the beginner Team Sonic LTS tutorial. Today's stage is Bullet Station, and this level takes the best out of Rail Canyon by keeping all the fun rail grinding sections, but removes the really long and drawn out ones. The movement is really fun on the stage, but unfortunately it does have some pretty long auto-scrollers as well. So let's dive in! Before we begin, I recommend watching the start of the Rail Canyon tutorial, as that goes over how to rail grind optimally a bit, just in case you missed it. As soon as you load in, hold B and character switch 2 times in order to reach a speed limit. Getting up this rail quickly can be surprisingly challenging, as normally you would get thrown up into the air, losing a bunch of time. What I do to prevent that is to spin the stick to cancel Sonic's vertical speed and land on this sloped rail and then kick forward. Take this rail on the left to land on this fence, kick and jump your way over the fences to quickly skip this section, and then one tip I have to not fall off while doing all of that is to move the camera using the R trigger or the C stick to give yourself a better view. Next, land on this middle rail and fly up to this ledge, and if you start flying really quickly you can get what is called a catch-up flight. Basically, Tails tries to catch up to the formation, giving you a bunch of speed in the direction that he's going, which saves a little bit of time. Next, fire dunk this grate and make your way down. Be sure to take this checkpoint as Sonic, as we'll need his level 3 for later in the stage. Move around these boxes as Sonic and then punch the switch as Knuckles. It's actually faster to not kick if you're coming from a long fall, so just move normally as Sonic, no kicking. After leaving the train section, there will be a big spike ball in the way. You can either choose to jump over it, or you can rail switch. If you decide to rail switch, make sure to jump as Tails after hitting this booster to save just a little bit of time in getting to the next rail. There's 2 main strats to go through this next section. You can either play this the intended way by destroying this robot and activating the switch, or you can hit this speed pad as Sonic, press X 2 times in order to switch to Tails, and then fly all the way to this rail, skipping the puzzle. Both strats are surprisingly even in terms of time save, so you can really just do whichever one you prefer, but I personally think that the puzzle is harder to play perfectly, so I prefer doing the skip, even if I have a small risk of dying. After making your way up these rails, homing attack the Rhino on the right, and then be sure to grind on that right rail. Now, there's a neat strat coming up. If you kick at just the right time after leaving this rail, you can carry all of the speed that you build up to skip this pole, saving just a tiny bit of time, and looking very cool in the process. If you're afraid of dying, then just take the pole instead and deal with the fact that you do not look cool. Now there's a little bit of a recent discovery coming up, which can actually save up to 4 seconds. You can get so much speed on this rail with a tornado that you can actually go through this wall. The setup I use is to tap jump at the end of this curve and then tornado at the peak of your height. If you jump any later you will go backwards, so be careful. I like to buffer a switch into Tails just in case you get this outcome to save yourself from falling off. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this strat, as the timing is actually really tight, but it does save a bunch of time, so I recommend at least trying it out. I'll also be sure to show you what to do in case you don't want to go for it. Next up, take this cannon as Knuckles, as that will allow you to open the door, then punch these boxes and enter the big cannon. These big cannons are actually really weird. The cannon will not activate unless all 3 of your teammates are inside it. That means that if one of your teammates gets hit or is not near the cannon, you will lose quite a bit of time just waiting for them to show up. What I like to do in order to make sure all my teammates are near me is to switch to Tails to get all my teammates grouped up, and then when I get close to the cannon, switch to Sonic and jump. Time for an auto-scroller. Something interesting about these cannons is that they fire at 3.3 second intervals from the start of the stage, meaning that you will always get shot off at consistent times. Grabbing each balloon might get you an extra 1-up, so if you don't feel like taking a break, I'd say just spend your time getting an extra 1-up. If you don't think you need it, then just hold left the entire time to make sure that you grab this Sonic level up, and then wait for the auto-scroller to end. There's 2 strats you can do here at the end of the auto-scroller. Either take this rail on the left or switch the tails and take this top rail. The rail on the left is faster by a few tenths, but you do risk missing the rail, so be careful. On this curved part of the rail, switch the tails and rail switch to the left in order to get to the next section. Glide your way up the fence and then take this checkpoint as Sonic for another level up. If you follow the route thus far, you should have level 3 by now. Take this light dash trail, but be careful, the first ring is not actually part of the trail, so I recommend jumping and starting the light dash from one of the later rings. Take the pulley, fire dunk the grate, and then enter the train section. Take this rail and character switch to get enough speed to glide over this gap. One character switch should get the job done. And then this is where you will be rewarded for collecting all 3 of those Sonic level ups, as you can simply homing attack this pole. Triangle jump across the gap and then punch the switch as Knuckles, which brings you into another auto-scroller. This one can be a bit tricky, as you can actually die during this one if you get hit 3 times, and this section especially can be annoying. One tip I have is to tap the L trigger when going through this narrow bridge so that your camera can properly follow you and you can see when to jump. The rest of the autoscroller is pretty straightforward, just follow the path I take on screen and jump at the right times. Now it's time for a pretty challenging strat. You can go over this entire section with a glide, skipping this pretty annoying puzzle. The timing is pretty tricky, as you only have about a 3-frame window for this trick to work. The visual cue I like to use is this white arrow at the back. You want to jump right as you pass it. If you miss the glide or you do not feel comfortable risking your run to it, there is actually a really easy alternative strat that also looks really cool. Position yourself on this curved part of either the center or the rightmost rail, then switch the tails and rail switch to the left, and if you did it correctly, you will get a bunch of height to skip over this section. And with that, you will have reached the end of the stage. There's a cannon cycle right at the end, so you will usually get pretty consistent end times unless you can actually manage to get a better cycle. Thank you very much for watching, and please pretend I said something funny to end off this video like Deku asked of me.